Hi, friends. It's good to be here. It's been a little while since I did a video. So I finished my equity course. I'm so excited. I am currently helping people with their tax matters. So if you have a tax matter from the IRS, whether it be if they want something from you, maybe you did an ROE and they're now sending you letters um, about filing certain tax years. That's been very common recently with some of my clients. If you have a different kind of tax matter, if you have a large tax bill or any kind of tax bill, equity can be brought to these things. And if you can, of course, go take the class, the equity course. I'm happy to share the one that I took. Um, if you don't want to do that, you can hire me to help you with your tax matters. And of course, we can go over that in a consultation if you're unsure of what that means. This is the first of hopefully several mini little videos on equity and what the heck it is and why we're using it and when we use it and how and why and all the things, because I have found it is so hard to nutshell equity and what it is. And I'm going to try. Okay. I'm going to try. And eventually I do want to teach equity, like a whole full on equity course, but that's going to be a little while because I just finished my equity course and I'm going to be doing this for a little bit for some of my own matters. And eventually I'll be helping people discharge, credit cards as well. And if you have a court case, down the line. But for now, what my offer is, I can help you bring equity to your tax matter, whatever that may be. So if you're interested, curious, yeah, there's a link below for a 15-minute free consultation, and I can share how I might be able to support you with that. So what is equity? That's my first video because it's really, really hard to nutshell. And my last video I did on the update about the ROE, I'm no longer recommending the ROE. You can just bring equity to your tax matters, and yeah, there'll be more about that in another video probably. But I did want to say what I'm currently recommending for people. Okay, I've done a lot on the natural law arena. I have had courses, and I'm still doing a lot of that stuff. But I really still recommend your national passport. Okay. And there's a very specific way to what forms to fill out in your explanatory statement and how to do that. So you can find a lot of that online. If you'd like help, I can help you with that. Something that that I can do in a one-on-one personal session. We might need a couple sessions, but I can help you with that. If someone's coming to you for something, like there's a presentment of some kind, an offer, a bill, a court summons, whatever, equity, 100% equity. And number three, trusts. Well, four, trusts for your assets. And if you have a certain kind of work that you do, a private membership association can be extremely beneficial and helpful. And if you have licensing for certain things, right? I do acupuncture and operate as a PMA. So those four things, it's what, I'm currently helping people with. I do have a course called Create Your Own Private Membership Association, and I can help you one-on-one with that as well. Those are the things I'm currently recommending after years of study and different processes and doing different things. I'm going to do another video talking about common law processes, which is if you're in this field, most of you have learned a lot of these processes and done maybe a lot of these things, including myself. And some work and some don't. So what's the difference between common law and equity? But that's a different video. Today's video is what is equity? What the heck is it? There's many different, like the definition of equity, is like justice, fairness, making both parties wholeness. I've had some people say, well, isn't equity just like love and bringing love and fairness and all of that? That's part of it for sure. There's over There's a lot of equity maxims. I'm keeping a list of like from my course and just hearing other equity maxims in other places. I have a running list. I think I'm at 45 right now, of equity maxims. And the maxims are just truths, like equity does not aid a volunteer is like one of the main. So volunteer in this scenario would be someone who, like say you volunteered to pay your taxes, right? So you signed your little form and you sent it off and you paid your taxes. Even if you got money back, you filed your taxes, whatever, you volunteer to pay that out of your paycheck, or if you're self-employed, quarterly or however you do it, you volunteered. So equity is not going to aid you. You can't get your money back from that. Like you volunteered to do that. That's on you. And now going forward, equity can aid you when you're no longer volunteering, right? That's one example. There's lots of different maxims, and there's almost a maxim for anything you may come up against, when you are the defendant, when somebody is coming at you for something. Because in equity, we do not fight, argue, claim, make claims, statements. I am this, I am that, you are this and you are that, I am right, you are wrong, you don't know the real law, I do. All of these things you're making, and very well these things you're saying could be 100% true. Absolutely. It's not about that. It's about not being in the energy of standing and being. It's like when you stand and there's no give, there's no flexibility, where you're just like this tree that's just, and there's a time to be a tree that's anchored and rooted, and you're not moving from that. And actually in equity, you do that. You stand strong. I mean, the course I took is called Standing on the Rock, right? So you're standing in the truth and what you know to be true, but you're doing it in a way that gives you all the power. Because when you start fighting and arguing or making claims and statements, arguing jurisdiction, arguing facts like in court, you are giving the power. As soon as you do that, the power goes back to the judge, and then they're going to, come back at you. And then, it's kind of a back and forth. And ultimately, you might win doing that. It's possible using common law and facts and things like that. But actually, it's you're not guaranteed. And of course, nothing is 100% guarantee. If you're bringing equity, you need to be bringing it all the way and properly. But when you do that, you are asking questions. You're not making statements. You're coming in from an energy of like, the truth, right? You're acting in honor. You're bringing honor to the situation, to the court, whatever. And equity, as learned in, like the three equity courses I know that are out there, what it is yes, it's all about fairness and justice and love and all that. But like a plaintiff you can't sue someone and bring equity. You can't be a plaintiff and bring the kind of equity that I'm talking about here. Because if you're a plaintiff, then you are making, saying this XYZ is true, I'm right, they're wrong, and then there's no equity there. You're there under general appearance. All their statutes and whatever applies to you, okay? When you use equity, you're there under special appearance. You're not consenting to their, statutes and all of that. Equity, I'm going to break it down for you in one sentence. It's high-level banking. You are there to settle and close the account because everything is commercial. Everything is commercial. Doesn't matter what kind of case you have. It doesn't matter. I mean, obviously, all the presentments and bills we get are all, commerce. They're all wanting money, all of that. Every case is commercial also. Okay, that's high-level banking. I'm not going to get into that in just this little short video. Bonds are created, all the things, right? When you're bringing equity jurisprudence, okay, this isn't just about fairness and love and all of that. This is very specific. You are the defendant, and you're there to settle and close the account. You are there, on behalf of, well, the defendant, which is you in that moment. and it's there, you're there to close the account. That's it. That's it. You're not arguing the charges. You're not, none of that. Okay. So, and equity has been seen and known and heard of for 700 plus years in like texts. It goes back a really long way. Equity also brought forth trust and trust law, right? A lot of equity maxims talk about, trusts and things like that. Um, and the energy of it is really powerful because you're not shaking by fighting. You're standing strong. Okay, you're simultaneously like rooted and grounded like a tree, but also you're the branches which can, you get a question from the judge and you can respond with another question. You're able to be flexible as well. So it's kind of the best of both worlds. It's powerful. It's old. Um, it does a lot of it does come from the Bible, which I know can be challenging for some people who are not religious. Um, I am not myself personally religious, although I have a strong faith, a beautiful relationship with the divine, a very strong faith. And when you are going to be coming up against the systems and structures of fear and control and greed that have been in this realm for such a long time, you really do need to have faith. You need to have some sort of faith in you, because if you're just like, oh, I'm going to go and I'm going to do this on my own, it might work, but it's going to be a lot more challenging, I think, for you than if you're really rooted and grounded and strong in your faith and whatever that is, whatever, the God of your understanding, basically. I heard that term the other day and I just loved it. The God of your understanding. Um, So it really does take the wind out of the sails of the whoever's coming at you with something. You're not feeding the fire and creating controversy. That's a big deal in equity. You're not creating controversy, okay? You're not doing that. Once you create controversy, when you go into a courtroom, for example, you are there under their rules, period. So it's all very specific, and this isn't an equity course. I'm not teaching you how to do it. I'm not saying you should go out and do it right now. After this 5-minute video or 10-minute video, but I'm just trying to share with people what this is, the power of it. And honestly, it took me a good month of being in my equity course to actually start to embody what this is, what it means, the power of it, the depth, the breadth. It's not something that really you can just say and someone goes, oh, okay, I get that. Like all these common law processes out there, it's just do this paperwork and this and this, and okay, maybe this works. This is so much more than that. It's really, it's, I can't even put it into words, but I'm trying. I'm gonna try. So that is what, when I'm talking about bringing equity, okay, I'm talking about coming in honor to settle and close the matter, the commercial matter, and using their laws to do it. Now, we're not citing laws or anything, but we're using their laws, their high-level banking laws and statutes and all of that to do this. So this is something that, has been done for many, many years by those, in higher power and higher positions and the elites, we could say, So now us, peasants, if you will, just kidding, I know we're not, are learning this. And so it's beautiful. And, but it does bring honor to the matter, to the situation, because yeah, that's another video. Maybe a little bit of the banking. That's another video though. And this is not for people to go out and say, I'm going to use equity in my court case now. Don't do that. Don't do that after just watching this. You need to take an entire course or be coached by someone who can really, really bring this forth for you and with you and in you, because there's very specific, there's certain things and only certain things that can be said and done, right? So I'm just trying to give a little taste. If you're interested, My information's below. You can get a 15-minute consult. You can go on my website and check out my offerings there as well. Okay, have a beautiful day. Thanks for watching and listening.